from my side.
Okay, but oh no, you started.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think it's I think you've done it actually now. Afra, yeah, seems to be working okay. So before we get into the actual live product demo, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what UpToDate is and why it's the most trusted resource among clinicians, not just in the UK, but all over the world. And then I'm going to talk you through how you can access UpToDate at Medway, but also register. And by registering, there are numerous benefits associated with doing so, like being able to get the mobile app and also to begin and start accruing CME and CPD points. So I'll give you a little bit of background. So UpToDate is an evidence-based physician-authored clinical decision support resource, and we have three objectives as a product. They are to help clinicians answer their clinical questions, to increase their clinical knowledge, but ultimately improve patient care and hospital performance. We have a number of differentiators from other clinical knowledge systems, perhaps no more so than our rigorous editorial process, which is multi-layered and is highly rigorous, as I say. We have our world-renowned clinical contributors, and again, we also have those different access options. So the version that you're seeing today is obviously the web-based version, but you can also get it on a mobile phone and a tablet as well. Furthermore, and these are available, there have been over 80 research studies conducted that confirm the widespread use of UpToDate and its association with improved patient care and hospital performance. So before we dive into a typical clinical scenario that you're likely to be presented with, I'm just going to show you quickly how you can access UpToDate at Medway. So you should be seeing now a Wolters Kluwer and a Medway branded access tip sheet. If you could just confirm. Okay, so again, it's a very simple process. So this will be shared with everybody as well. So you don't need to obviously make a mental note, but you don't need to make any notes as to how to do this. This document will be sort of disseminated trust-wide to show you how to access. So a simple process. You simply go to your intranet homepage, as you can see on screen, under Internal Systems, and then you'll click on the clinical IT systems icon. Scroll to the bottom of the page as you see on the left hand side, and you'll see, you definitely won't be able to see this if you're having resolution problems, but it will be clear on your screen. It'll say UpToDate library resources. Then this is the important part. So it will take you through to the login or register page, which you should be seeing now on my screen. So you can use UpToDate without registering or logging in. You'll simply see the search box in the center of your screen, and it will say Medway Trusts in the top right-hand corner. As I said, by clicking register in the green button there, or by logging in, if you've previously done so, you'll have numerous different benefits. For example, you'll be able to get the mobile app, and you'll be able to start accruing CME or CPD time-based or point-based tracking. And so we do urge all users to register to personalize their experience and also get their own personal account for UpToDate. Again, from a business point of view, we know then who you are, and we know then who is using it, and we can then use this information to target other groups or other specialties within the trust who might not know that they have access to UpToDate. So it's a simple process. You're just filling click register, filling the fields that you see on the screen there, and then you choose your own username and password, which we do ask you to make a note of. Then you simply go to the App Store. You download, or if it's Google, it's Android, you go Google Play Store, or if it's Apple, you go to the App Store. You simply search UpToDate, download the app. You'll see it. None of the content is abridged, so any of the content that you see today on the web-based version will look exactly the same on your phone or tablet. You enter the username and password that you created during the registration process, and then you're good to go. UpToDate will appear on your phone and or your tablet, so you can have it on 2 devices at any one time. The section that I'm coming to at the bottom of the page now here, which is the re-verification process, is very important. We do ask, so when you register, you will need to do it through the intranet system, as I've just shown. So that is that you're doing it through a Medway Trust network connected PC. Now, the reason for this is obviously so that we can confirm your affiliation and your employment with the trust, and that you can rightly have access to UpToDate as part of the subscription that the trust has paid for. You will then have a 180-day period to just use it on your phone or tablet by not logging in through a Trust PC. So you can have sort of 6 months sort of trouble-free access, but you will need then to log in at least once every 180 days, and that is just to confirm your affiliation with Medway. Pre-COVID, this was actually a 90-day re-verification time period, but obviously due to the current pandemic, we know that, excuse me, a lot of staff are working off-site, or that they might not be able to get on a Medway PC if they, as I mentioned, if they are working off-site. So again, we've extended that period for you for seamless access to UpToDate. So you'll now have 180 days. So once you register, you log in, you can go off and use it on your tablet and phone, but you will need to just log in on a Trust PC every 180 days. Okay, this document will be shared, as I said, and disseminated through today's attendees, but also through the Trust. But any support needed is available through these email addresses that you see at the bottom, or through our customer site team with the phone number there. I work with Afra as well, though, on the training side and the promotion side, so please do contact her, or indeed access queries, or indeed any product related queries as well. So I'm going to come back to the UpToDate home screen, which you all should be seeing now in front of you. And again, obviously I've registered for my own account, so it will say your name at the top of the page there once you've registered. Okay. So before we get, as I say, before we get into the actual demo, I just want to show you and orientate you with the home screen initially. So you'll probably notice as well, there's quite a lot of white space around the search box. And the reason for that is we don't run adverts on UpToDate. We have no commercial affiliation, so we're not sponsored by any pharmaceutical or medical companies. We're a fully subscription funded product. So again, you won't have any annoying pop-ups, any adverts. You certainly won't be deviated away from UpToDate during your experience of using it, okay? So furthermore, UpToDate will allow you to search in your own language. So for example, if I was to change this language to the multitude of different languages that you see on the screen here, for example, Spanish, you'll see then that we've translated our navigation bar here and our home page, which will allow the user to search in their own native tongue if English isn't their first language. So for example, if I was to start typing pneumonia within Spanish, you'll see there that not only will UpToDate autofill for you, but it will give you a host of different suggestions based on your search criteria, in this instance, pneumonia. One thing to note, that out of the 11,800 topics contained within UpToDate, they are all still in English, because we don't, for medical terminology reasons and complexity, we don't translate all of the topics. We do allow the user, though, as you can see, to search within their own language, okay? So my Spanish isn't great, particularly on a Monday morning, so I'm going to turn it back to English for the purposes of today's demo. A final thing to note as well, when you do register, you will have your own personalized widget, which you can see there will detail in chronological order the topics that you viewed by date. It will also have a bookmark for your most viewed topics under most viewed, which again allows you to quickly and easily access any topics of particular note that you've stumbled across. And you'll also have the option to bookmark pages within UpToDate, which I will show you how to do. Any of those bookmarked topics, or it could be a graphic, it could be drug information, it could be a disease, a symptom. These will all be listed under your bookmark pages, under your home page, under your widget and the home page. Okay. And again, this is for nice, quick and easy use when you log back in. Obviously, now as well, I need to allude to our COVID-19 information, which again is being updated as and when new evidence becomes available to us. Obviously, we're a fully evidence-based product, so as and when new drug information or treatment information becomes available, all of our COVID information, as well as our other obviously topics, will be updated when that becomes available. The reason that we've put them on the homepage, we've seen obviously huge use and huge search terms, people looking for information on coronavirus. So we've kept all our COVID-19 information at the forefront of the product and on the homepage. So any clinical topics relating to coronavirus will be listed on the homepage, and this is growing daily, as I say, as and when new available evidence comes to the forefront. And you can quickly and easily access any coronavirus topics just by clicking on our clinical topics. You can see there are a multitude of different topics associated with coronavirus, which you can see on the screen there. Okay. I know that this is a little bit blurry, so you might not be seeing the text as sharply as you will, however, when you log into UpToDate from a PC. So apologies if it is a little bit blurry as well. Society guidelines also, so we will link up with, for example, if we're in the UK, the NICE guidelines, and again, any of the new guidelines published by those government agencies, we will affiliate to. So if you click on society guidelines here, for example, and then you click on United Kingdom, you can see there that we allude to any of the NICE guidelines published for NICE guidance, or any public health England information. Again, we link out to those guidelines to keep it nice and contained, so you can sort of have quick and easy access to any newly published information on coronavirus there. Furthermore, we have our patient education section. Now, we have this as well, generally listed within UpToDate, but relating to coronavirus, you can see that we have, so these are split into two areas in terms of patient education. We have the basics, but if depending on what topic you're looking for, we also have a section called Beyond the Basics. So these are to give patients information about their condition or disease. In this instance, we're talking about coronavirus. We've also published in different languages, as you can see here. But just to give you an overview of how that looks, it's written in very simplified language. There's a short video, for example, about understanding, the importance of sanitization and, care and, obviously mitigating the potential to spread coronavirus. And again, it's written in very sort of simplistic language, enabling your patients to understand, in this instance, obviously COVID, and what risks are involved, what their symptoms are, and any treatment plans or testing that's currently available. So if you're a nurse on a ward and you're very time poor, for example, this is a great way that you can you have the option to share this with patients just by emailing directly to them, should you wish. This out as well, and put amongst a ward, or however you wish to disseminate the information. Like our topics as well, this information for patients is being updated as and when new available evidence becomes available to us. We also have a Q&A section, again, which is fairly self-explanatory. We have a general Q&A on COVID, but we also have an area with COVID, Q&A area for pregnancy and COVID-19, just to show you a little bit how this is set out. So underneath on the left-hand side, you've got a list of various different questions relating to complications, clinical presentation, clinical evaluation. But again, for quick and easy access, we also keep those topics, our coronavirus topics, listed on the right-hand side for quick and easy access for you as well. The final feature that I'd like to show you now, UpToDate Pathways is indeed part of a sort of a bolt-on product called UpToDate Advanced. However, for coronavirus, we've made the pathway on initial telephone triage of adults within an outpatient setting freely available to all users. And I'm just going to quickly talk you through how this looks. So it's, as you can see, it's an algorithm set up which allows you to work through any sort of any guides or potential treatment plans for your patient. So again, all of the content on this advanced pathway is taken from UpToDate, and we've put it in this nice algorithm format, allowing you to work through a particular patient, and asking you questions, discussing what their oxygen saturation is, and with the ultimate aim of deciding whether they need to go home or whether they need to be hospitalized. Okay, and again, this will allow you to work through and to identify the treatment plan for that patient. Now, once you've finished this, you can continue the summary, and then it will give you a summary of this treatment plan or the patient's symptoms, and it will also give you, again, the full listing to our professional topics of any information taken here of what those topics came from on the right-hand side. Okay. So I'm going to come back now to our homepage. And I'm going to start by looking at a typical clinical scenario that you may well be presented with. So in keeping with pneumonia, for example, you can start searching pneumonia, and again, UpToDate will autofill for you to help you along your way. So, we know that some medical terms are quite complex to spell, so it's just a quick little feature to help you along your way there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a particular disease. UpToDate will accept medical abbreviations. We will accept drug names and various symptoms, depending on what your search criteria are. So if I click on pneumonia, This will then open up our topic review page. Okay, I'll just close that down. So this will list all of the topics here that contain the word pneumonia. Okay, and you can see that it's highlighted in black. We're in various different topics, which are highlighted in green and hyperlinked. As I mentioned, UpToDate has over 11,800 topics in total. So you could be confident that whatever you're searching for, we will have some information, some evidence-based information to give you. We naturally default to all, as you can see there. So depending on your search criteria, these list all of the topics contained within UpToDate based on what you've searched for. If it's an adult that you're treating, you can specify that by clicking adult, and these will show you simply all of the topics that relate to adult treatment. Similarly, if it's a child, you can search by pediatric information as well, and this will list just those topics that contain information about treating a child with potential pneumonia. There's our patient information again, as I mentioned. So this is split into the basics. And if we scroll down here, you will be able to see that we have also beyond the basics. So again, this is written in very simplified language for patients, as you saw. Beyond the basics looks a little bit different. As you can see, it's written more like a simple UpToDate topic. So it's written at a slightly higher level for depending on your patient's sort of medical knowledge. And again, this enables you to share this with the patient to determine their treatment plan or to understand their symptoms a little better. You can also, under our topic review page, search for graphics. So any of the graphics that you see here will have the word pneumonia contained within them, hence your search term. However, we do have over 35,000 graphics in total and growing contained within UpToDate, and they can vary from full color diagrams. There's multimedia videos on there. There's example chest radiographs, as you see on screen there as well. Okay, so depending on your search term, UpToDate will be able to, will give you a graphic to help you understand the process, help you understand the treatment plan, and bring the topic to life in a little bit more than a simple text. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that topic review page then, and if I scroll down, you'll probably notice there's a little arrow appearing there to the right-hand side. If you hold and hover your mouse over that arrow, this will give you a quick snapshot into the topic outline as to what is contained within that topic. So you don't have to keep clicking into a topic and clicking back out. Again, it gives you a snapshot of what is contained and to sort of, again, to quickly and easily identify what it is that you're looking for. For the purposes of today's demo, however, we're going to click into this topic, and this is the treatment of CAP, or community-acquired pneumonia, within adults in an outpatient setting. So you'll see that almost 2/3 of the page is taken up by the actual topic content itself, with our topic outline index over on the left-hand side, as we've just seen. Summary and recommendations will always appear directly under topic outline, and the reason for this is that we want to summarize and we want to give you graded evidence-based recommendations based on your search criteria quickly, and for you to easily get those answers to your search term. So if I click on summary and recommendations, you'll see that this is written in nice, clear, bulleted, digestible paragraphs. And again, if you read through this, this is giving you graded recommendations, which we'll come on to shortly, based on the latest available evidence to us. So for example, you'll see language like, we suggest a combination of high dose amoxicillin. We will give you dosing information, as well as other sort of treatment plans and other sort of suggested drug and therapeutic use. Okay, so the reason that, again, I'll come on to the graded recommendations and what they mean shortly. I just want to talk to you now a little bit about our drug information, being as we've UpToDate has suggested a drug amoxicillin. Now, any drugs that you see within UpToDate will all be hyperlinked, okay? So if I click on this drug name here, this will then open up a separate page, which is our drug information page, clearly and simplistically given. Now, we have information on drugs. We have over 6,400 drugs contained within UpToDate, and we have a host of information on each drug. So you can see, again, like our topic outline on the left-hand side, there's information on patient population, for example, pediatrics, adult or geriatric, and dosing information contained within it. Again, you can see it on the body of the content here, to the topic outline. So as you work through your topic outline, you'll see that we'll work through the main topic. So this is all aligned, again, for ease of use. We've got information on off-label use, as well as adverse reactions. Any warnings and precautions pertaining to certain drugs will all be contained within the drug information page, which you can see is for, in this instance, amoxicillin. You might see a little trademark there, which is called Lexicon. Now, Lexicon is not a separate company. It's wholly owned by Wolters Kluwer and sits on our clinical decision support or clinical decision resource and product line. The reason that we hyperlink that is to show you that Lexicon, which again is part of our business, powers all of the drug information that you'll see within UpToDate. And again, that's on over 6,400 drugs. Now, a lot of the time we get asked the question, why do you just contain the US or Canadian brand name? I mean, we are a US company, but again, you might have a patient who isn't from the UK, US or Canada that you might want to assess for potential risks of prescribing amoxicillin to them. So if you scroll on the left-hand side down to the bottom of your topic outline, we will also give an international brand names section. So if I open up this, you can see that we've put all of the different names that amoxicillin is known as. The 2-letter abbreviation next to that name denotes what country that's from. So for example, if you want to assess a patient that you might want to assess their risk of administering amoxicillin to them, you can just check that by looking at the drug name, the 2-letter abbreviation, opening the table here, and that will tell you what that country denotes. And again, this is all about improving patient safety, reducing medical errors, and ultimately helping that patient get back on their feet as soon as possible. Another tool that we have as part of our drug information flow, and it's most frequently used, one of the most frequently used tools within UpToDate, as you can see that I'm hovering on here, is our drug interactions tool. Now, this is again, it's very frequently used part of UpToDate, so it can be accessed through the topic outline within your drug information. However, if I scroll to the top of the page, you can see that we've put it directly on our blue navigation bar. And again, this is because it's frequently used by pharmacy, by nursing teams, by clinicians in all specialties, actually. And what this will allow you to do, if I click on it, this gives a bit of background as to what it is. I'm not going to read that today, but ultimately, to condense this, it's a drug-to-drug, drug-herb or herb-to-herb analysis tool. What it will allow you to do is enter up to 50 different drug names within this search bar. Now, these can be prescription drugs, they can be over-the-counter drugs, they can be herbal remedies such as a St. John's wort, such as omega-3 fatty acid, for example. Whatever it is that you've assessed that your patient is taking and that you want to potentially prescribe, this will allow you to enter these drug names in this box to assess for any adverse reactions that might take place. So, for example, excuse me, if I begin with amoxicillin, you'll see that again, it will autofill and populate for you to save time. So if I click amoxicillin, this will now appear in our list for assessing those risks. Again, we can put in things like over-the-counter drugs, such as an aspirin. Find here. You could even put in things like grapefruit juice. We could put a blood thinner like a simvastatin. Again, I'm putting these for demo purposes. You can put whatever it is that your patient is taking to assess suitability or to assess for adverse reactions. I'll put in St. John's wort simply because I mentioned that earlier. And again, omega-3 just to show you the sort of breadth of different sort of prescription over-the-counter and herbal drugs that you can put in there. So what we can do before we analyze our chosen entries, if we click into the individual entries, for example, amoxicillin, this will then launch the risk rating chart, which you can see on screen. Now, you can see this is loosely based on a traffic light system where we have a red X, which is telling us to avoid the combination. So again, we're just looking at amoxicillin, as you can see here. A red X is telling us to avoid another combination, which you can see here, right through to monitor therapy, to consider therapy modification with a green B and a blue A as to no action needed. Okay, so we don't have any known interactions from amoxicillin, but we do have some green Bs. Importantly, we have some red X's, however. So straight away, it's UpToDate is telling us that you should avoid amoxicillin and the BCG, as well as the cholera vaccine. Now, for example, if I click through into this particular reaction, this will then launch our full interaction monograph. So this will give you the risk rating along with a summary, some patient management information, other known interaction members, but we will also give footnotes as well as a discussion points as well. So if you want more information about why we've deduced this combination as to be avoided, you can simply click through into each interaction which you see on the screen here. Okay. And again, depending on the level of evidence that we have will depend on the amount of information that we've got within this interaction monograph. Okay, but again, you can print this off and put it in your pocket if you wish to have it on your person to assess for any other known interactions. So this is telling us any combinations for amoxicillin. Obviously, we want to look at our chosen entry, so we just click Analyze. And again, this will give all known risk ratings, and you can see there that we have one for simvastatin and grapefruit juice, which should be avoided. And again, similarly to our amoxicillin risk members, if we click through, this will then launch again the interaction monograph, which will give a full detail, PubMed abstracts as well, and references, and show you why this combination should be avoided and why we've deduced this. So I was going to say at the start as well, if there are any questions, please don't wait until the end. Do interrupt me if you've got any questions as we work through, and I'll be happy to answer them as we go through. So I'm going to close this information down, and I'm going to come back to our topic page now and back to summary and recommendations. So recommendations are a key differentiator and a strong, unique selling point of UpToDate. So we have over 9,500 graded recommendations contained within UpToDate. Now, these will always appear under the recommendations section, okay, within a particular topic. So, for example, wherever you stumble across one of these bolded, hyperlinked and bracketed grades, okay, this will then take you through as to what they mean by use of a number and a letter. So to give you a bit of background before I speak about each one, UpToDate uses a grade system. And again, they have two components, as I mentioned, a number and a letter. So we work with Dr. Gordon Guyette, who is affiliated with McMaster University in Ontario. He is sort of one of the founding fathers of the term evidence-based medicine. But him, along with the grade working group, will assess multiple pieces of medical information and literature based on evidence, obviously the latest available evidence, and then we will grade this within UpToDate. So a number denotes the strength of the recommendation, okay? 1 being that the recommendation is strong, where the benefits clearly outweigh the risks for most, if not all, patients. Where you see a 2, a graded 2 recommendation, this is a weaker recommendation, where the risks and the benefits are more closely balanced and are more uncertain. So you'll actually find that the majority of recommendations will be a grade 2 because of the lack of evidence. Or UpToDate will use wording, for example, we suggest as opposed to we will recommend, where you see a grade 2. But the reason for that is that we want to be fully open and transparent with you. And if there isn't high quality evidence supporting a particular recommendation, we will grade that accordingly. So secondly, the evidence grade will also be given a letter. And again, you'll see that this ranges from an A to a C, being high quality evidence right through to low quality evidence. Now, again, this denotes whether the strength, whether the quality of the evidence from certain randomized trials or overwhelming evidence from other form, where you see, for example, a 1A, we're basically telling the user that there's a multitude of evidence to support our recommendation. And by following that, you are going to be doing more good than harm to your patient. Where you see a 2C, the balance, you need to be a bit more balanced. Maybe check with a colleague, use your own medical knowledge, because there simply isn't a huge amount of evidence, or the quality of that evidence is low. Again, we're being transparent with the user on that. Okay. So each topic as well will have a lead author who are making these recommendations along with an editorial team. So more information on our editorial team can be found at the top of each topic, which you'll see here on the screen. Okay, so as I mentioned at the start of today's demo, our editorial process is very rigorous and it's multi-tiered. Each topic will have its own lead author, which will be, they need to meet certain criteria. So they must be medically active, they must be affiliated with a medical institution, and generally they're very sort of prominent in terms of they host conferences or they're speakers at conferences within their chosen specialty. We'll also have a section editor as well as a deputy editor team. Every topic within UpToDate will then be passed to a peer review process. So it will be viewed by 2 people in a peer review process. These people won't know each other. This is to remove bias and to ensure consistency, okay, before any topics are published. If you wish to find out more information about any of the editorial team, you can just click through into hyperlink name. This will give you the specialty that the author is from or affiliated with, but also their institution, as well as information on the editorial team, section deputy editor team. And we've also got the full list of peer reviewers as well for this topic, which you see here as well. Okay, but as I say, every topic will have at least 2 peer reviewers. Again, that's to ensure consistency and to remove that bias. The editorial team that you see here will, and the evidence that they search for is derived from a number of resources, including but not limited to, for example, hand searching of over 420 peer-reviewed journals. There will be electronic searching of databases, including Medline, Cochrane Library, BMJ Best Practice, for example. We have guidelines as well that are constantly reviewed, for example, that adhere to principles of evidence evaluation. These are all continuously reviewed to ensure that we're giving you the latest available evidence for any topic. Now, the two dates you'll see at the bottom are very important because they allude to the date, that the literature review date, which when this topic was last reviewed by the team to assess it for any new evidence or for any clinical updates. And the topic update date is exactly what it says, is telling you when this topic was last updated with any new evidence that our editorial team have deemed necessary to update it. So you can see here that this has been reviewed well, just last month, so it's current. Obviously, it's bang up to date, but there haven't been any clinical updates until November, as the editorial team haven't deemed it necessary to do so. Okay. Any of the information or any of the papers or evidence that they've reviewed can be found if you click down on the left-hand side to references. This will bring you to the bottom of the page of the topic where we fully list and hyperlink all of the information that our editorial team have reviewed in order to publish this topic. So, for example, if I was to click on any random piece of reference, this will bring up then the Medline abstract for this particular reference, which is the treatment of cap pneumonia in adults. And again, it will give you a quick PubMed overview as to what this paper includes, including the background, the objectives of the paper, the search methods, and then the author's conclusion there as well. Now, depending on the level of access or subscriptions that your institution has, if you click on the PubMed ID, whether or not you have full access to this paper will, as I said, will determine the level of access to PubMed that your institution has, but you should be able to get then the full article by clicking through onto that PubMed ID. And again, this will give you the fully referenced article there, should you wish to get more information on it. Okay, I'm going to come back now to the main body of our topic and scroll to the top of the page. Now, I mentioned at the start of today's demo that we have over 35,000 graphics contained within UpToDate. Most of the topics within UpToDate will have their own graphics pertaining to them. So you can see there on the left-hand side under our outline that we have graphics for this particular topic for pneumonia as well. So if I was to click on View All, this will then bring up a separate box there, which will determine all of the graphics that are contained within this particular topic. So, for example, if I click on the CAP site of care, a bit like our pathway, our advanced pathway, this is an algorithm which enables a clinician to work through the particular symptoms or the particular manifestations or sort of symptoms that the patient is showing, determining in this instance whether that patient should be admitted to ICU or hopefully just admitted to the general medical ward. But again, this really brings the topic to life and is designed for the clinician to quickly and easily identify in a step process the appropriate site of treatment for this patient. Now, what we also allow users to do if you're in a teaching setting, for example, is export all of our graphics to PowerPoint. They're all fully copyrighted. And also, as you'll see when you open within PowerPoint here, that they're fully referenced as well. So you don't have to go back into UpToDate to find out where who's written this, who's written the graphic, where it's come from. We'll do that for you to save time there as well. If you enable editing, you can also add your own notes to any of the graphics within UpToDate, just by doing, for example, here. You can save these to your computer or a USB without, again, you're not infringing any copyright. They're all fully owned by us. And again, you can use these for presentation purposes or any teaching that you may be doing or training, for example. Okay, I'm going to close that off. We'll save that now. Shut that graphic down. Now I'd like to show you a little bit of our toolbar, which can be used to quickly and easily navigate through any particular topic. Now, not to be confused with the main toolbar. If you do search in the toolbar at the top, this would take you to another topic depending on your search criteria within UpToDate. So we don't want to use this toolbar there. It's this toolbar within the topic, which is just situated directly under the navigation bar. So, for example, if you were to search a term such as smoking with your patient, if you just want to discuss smoking cessation with them, for example, you just click through there and then it'll highlight in orange where that first appears, that terminology first appears within the topic. And then you can just sort of tally through and it will show you then where your particular search term appears within the topic. It's quite self-explanatory. At the top of the page now, and I'm on the toolbar here, again, you could choose to put it into, I wish I put it into large for today actually, so it would be easier to see and less blurry, but you can put it into large or normal or small, fairly self-explanatory there. Very much like our patient education, you have the option to share topics as well. So you can hit just share, you could put the recipient's email address, this could be a patient, it could be a colleague, you can personalize your message there and then send, and then the topic will arrive within their inbox for their perusal. We've added patient here, so this will take you directly to that patient education that I've spoken about, directly within your topic. And again, we've categorized this into the basics and beyond the basics there as well. Okay, so again, I'll highlight this once more just to show you how we've written it in sort of nice simplified language when it loads. And again, you also have the option to print this and share this with patients. So this is just depending on what is pneumonia, what are the symptoms, and again, you know, how is it treated? And again, you can share this with patients to save you time as well. Okay. I also want to highlight our topic feedback button here. Now, we always strive to make a better product and to improve what we have. So at any time you stumble across a topic that you wish to add a new piece of evidence, or you wish to give our editorial team direct feedback, we just click on the topic feedback button, which will open up this box, and then you can put your message within the box here. Now, this will go to a manned editorial team, and somebody will come back to you within 48 hours. This won't just disappear into a sort of survey type sort of feedback, but this is a manned inbox, and somebody will come back thanking you for your suggestions or any specific recommendations that you have on how we can improve. Okay. So back to the top of our page again here, and I'm going to come now back to our home page because I'd like to now draw your attention to some of the other main features that UpToDate can offer you on the top of the page there. So under our main contents bar, we have, as you can see, a list of various different things that we've already covered, our drug information, patient education, for example, but we've put what's new and practice changing updates directly at the top because these are, again, very frequently used by clinicians and medical staff. So if I click what's new, this will list in alphabetical order all of the different specialties that are contained within UpToDate. So again, you can just search through and look at whatever specialty that you're affiliated with. So for example, if I was to click on emergency medicine, what we do here is we collate information from the past 6 months that our editorial team and authors have considered to be of particular interest to this chosen specialty. In this instance, it's emergency medicine. Subtopics or sub-outlines within this specialty will be listed alphabetically on the left-hand side, depending on what you're looking for. Environmental emergencies, general adult emergency medicine, for example. All of the information as well, which you see again, will be dated, so you can see that it's currency, and also you know, any hyperlinks that will take you through to topics pertaining to any updates that have happened over the last 6 months within your chosen specialty. So again, this is all information that has been reviewed and collated, so you don't have to sort of do it yourself, basically, you know, and find this information. Our editorial team have done this for you. So this really is worth checking in on to see if there's been any specific updates from your specialty. And again, like our topics, we will date them. So we will tell you when the literature in this what's new emergency medicine page was reviewed, but also we can see that it's been updated very recently, just under a month ago here. Now, practice changing updates are different in as much as these are specific new, these are changes or updates that we anticipate will change usual clinical practice. So whereas UpToDate, whereas what's new will give a more holistic overview of updates within your specialty, practice changing updates are just that. These are focusing on changes that will have significant or broad impact on practice. Okay, so again, this is the other section of UpToDate that you will see grades as well, based on, again, evidence. So for example, the story broke recently in the news about dexamethasone and COVID-19, and you can see here that we will use that language where we recommend low dose dexamethasone, and you can see this was given a 1B. So the level of evidence is not only high, but good quality evidence as well. Okay, so again, any specific recommendations that will affect clinical practice will be listed within practice changes, by specialty as well. In this instance, obviously COVID and infectious diseases. So we do urge everyone to check this regularly. And again, you'll see chosen different specialties on the left-hand side, and any of those practice change and updates that relate to them by date on the left-hand side as well. So again, none of the content on your mobile or tablet will be abridged. Should you search for this, it will all appear directly as it does on the web-based version as well. Okay, back to our now, and you may remember I said that it is one of the reasons why we urge all users to register for UpToDate is to be able to not only get that mobile functionality, but also start accruing CME or CPD points. Okay, so UpToDate is a recognized provider of CME, continued medical education points, or CPD, continued professional development. So we operate two different types or styles of CME accrual, and if I click by clicking on CME, you'll see that this opens up the CME homepage here. So this is defaulted now to time-based tracking, but you can also change this as well to points-based tracking under settings. So if I was to click on settings there, you'll see that it's currently under time-based tracking. So it's telling me that I've got a total of 17 hours, 17.66 hours of time that I've accrued. I've redeemed obviously a lot of time by doing demos, but if I edit this, you can then change this to depending on what you're affiliated to time-based or tracking, or AAMP, or in this term AMA credits, for example, and you'll see that then this will change then to CME points-based tracking. So to give you an example, for every topic that you review within UpToDate, you will accrue half a CME point. So if you were to search anything at all, asthma, infectious diseases, by clicking through into the topic, like we did with the treatment of CAP, you will automatically accrue half a CME point. So hopefully you can see that the more you're using UpToDate, the more CME points that you will accrue as well. You will do this on the web-based version that you see today, but also on your phone or tablet as well. So if you're on your phone, you search a medical term, you go into a topic, you'll also accrue that half CME point as well. Now, redeeming the points is simple. You just hit redeem. You need to do this within 2 years, otherwise they will expire. So we do recommend that all clinicians sort of redeem their points every 3 months. Again, this can be for appraisal or review purposes, depending on how many points you need to accrue within the year. So you just hit redeem. Step 1, you select the credits that you wish to redeem. Again, this will detail all of your topics that you reviewed, your search term, when you did it. Again, so you need to do at least 0.25 credits to be able to redeem. And you can see then you just click to the bottom of the page, hit continue. We ask this short questionnaire on your use of UpToDate. So what was your search goal? Was it for a clinical manifestation, a treatment plan, or a prevention? Was it for diagnosis, prognosis, or another? And again, if I just click this, and then we also ask you, did it modify your plan? Did it reinforce your plan? Or do you need more information? And again, if you just click through, this will then turn green, and then you can continue on your way with redemption. This is the final point where we will ask you some final questions on your experience of UpToDate. Again, we use this for product development to enable us to, continue to give you the best possible product. So your feedback is hugely invaluable to us. So we do recommend that you just fill in this short questionnaire. I won't do it now for the purpose of today's demo, but it's only 11 questions. It shouldn't take too long, but it all goes towards us, continuing to make a better product for you as well. So there we go. You've successfully redeemed just half a credit in this instance, as I say, for demo purposes. You can also view or download your certificate, which is basically telling you that you've accrued CME by using UpToDate, and we are a recognized provider. This is signed also by our president and CEO, Denise Bassau, who is also clinical. And again, this is the first page. The second page will tell you all of those bodies that we are recognized by as a provider as well. Okay, so that is CME. I'm just going to come back to our homepage now. And if ever you want any more information on drug interactions, practice change and updates, or anything that I've shown you today, if you click on your name at the top of the page and the help button here, this will direct you to our UpToDate help and training page, where we've got videos and demos, other sort of live online learning sessions, a certified trainer program, which I'll be doing sessions with Medway on later this afternoon, and various dates over in October, to show you a little bit about more how you can become a super user within your institution, should you have training responsibility yourself. We also have more information on basically the features that I've shown you today, calculators, our graphics, for example, and also drug interactions, patient education, and what's new as well there. There's a host of information, should you wish to get it on UpToDate, contained within our help and training page as well. Similarly, and again, we will share this information relating to our COVID page here. We've actually got a dedicated resources and tools page for coronavirus. Again, this will list all of the topics that you see within UpToDate. These are all freely available to all users. Again, this lists our Q&A section and all of our clinical topics here, and also any of our additional clinical topics which we're updating daily or as and when new available evidence becomes available to us. So again, we will share this, so please do sort of bookmark this page into your browser, and again, it's updated as and when new available evidence and information on coronavirus and vaccines becomes available to us as well. Okay, so that concludes today of UpToDate. I now open the floor for any questions that you may have. I hope you have found it useful, and I welcome any questions. Afra, can you just confirm that you'll be obviously you can disseminate the information on the access as well as the COVID-19 stuff that we've discussed?
Yes, I am. I'm sharing all of the information. We have been tweeting about it, and it's also on the staff Facebook page.
That's great. That'd be great. Thank you very much. And were there any other questions from anyone else today?
Just I see saying thank you very much.
No problem at all. That's my pleasure. And we've got the session this afternoon as well, obviously, on
Yes.
the certified trainer. Yeah. So I look forward to, if anyone else from today's group is attending that, I look forward to speaking to you then, and also on any other sessions that we're conducting for October.
Thank you so much again.
No,
and yeah, I guess we'll see you later on today.
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. Bye all.